in the Bible whereby God is encouraging men to leave their parents and give to their wives. So it is God, first of all, it is God who created marriages. And this marriage is all about being able to live with another soul, which is probably is not from your family, maybe, let me say, to live with a stranger. Then we may also agree that it is difficult to live with someone whom maybe you don't know. But then in this one, let's assume you know him and you have chose to live with him. But however, living with another person, it takes someone who is with a good character. So before you marry, you have to work maybe on yourself. You have to make sure that you have to ensure that your character is so good that you can live with another person. You have to look at things like your temper. You have to look at things that you are able to live with another person who is not maybe from your family.
To all my friends, prepare for this huge step in life, I'm sure you'd agree with me. Most people, when they're about to get to this change or to meet the stage of life, question or the plea, usually the prayer is usually, God, please give me an ideal wife, or please give me an ideal man. But have we ever really asked ourselves, am I the ideal man? Am I the ideal woman? Because you're looking for someone who is ideal. Are you actually ideal? So it's one question we should ask ourselves, friends. And the Bible basically, it gives us guidelines of some of the things that we should look into when we're preparing for this change. Allow me to go through some questions that the Bible actually emphasizes and highlights for us to ask ourselves before we actually take this stand or step to actually marry. First being, ask yourself, is he or she hardworking? Take me to Proverbs 24 verse 30 to 34, and there the solution lies. Is he or she irritable? Proverbs 22 verse 24 to 25. Do you have common beliefs? You and the person who you're about to consider marrying, do you have common beliefs? And there, the solution is in 2 Corinthians 6, verse 14 to 15. What do my family and friends think about this person? Proverbs 11, verse 14. And am I being carried away by my emotions? Because sometimes it could just be emotions that are carrying you. And Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6 has an answer for us. And friends, sometimes after preparing for this marriage, after asking yourselves these various questions, and you're now in the marriage, there is a fruit to this marriage. And here we are, God blesses the married couple with children. And now, it's now to the parents to prepare for this parenting. I have to prepare the children that God has given me. It's now to us to prepare for this parenting.
Psalms chapter 127 verse 4 and 5, it reads, like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. So from this, we are seeing that God blesses his children with kids. But as parent, how are you going to grow those? How are you going to groom those children? They need your what? They need your guidance. So for you to groom those children to be to be kids that love God, to be kids that pleases God, to be kids that are faithful, you need to follow some steps when they are still young. Even our children are not destined to be biblical prophets. Parents should still be preparing for this radical change in their lives. So from the Bible, we can say that there are people who have prepared their children are for God. Like if we look at 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 27, we see Samuel being dedicated to God. So as we groom our children, we need to train them to be to be children for service, children for God. We can see from Judges chapter 13 verse 7, when Samson was born, he was born for what? For God as well. Even the diet, the parents, they consider their diet for what? For the well-being of their kids. Even the way that he was growing, it was what? It was supposed to be for God. So as parents, as you be parenting your kids, you should take note of the diet that you're going to take. Even when you're pregnant, you should take note of the things that you'll be liking, the things that you'll be doing whilst you're pregnant, because the child will take the character since in the what from the womb. That's when you obtain the character. So we should take note of everything. And God will give us these children is our responsibility, and God will ask us in the future or on the judgment day what we have done for them to be saved. So we should take note of that.
And also to all mothers, to all preparing for parenting, always pray for him or her even before conceiving. It's very much important. And Proverbs 22 verse 6 then goes on to say, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. It's your duty as a parent to train up the children that you have been given by God. And that's we prepare for parenting. And friends, parenting doesn't end there. Parenting is one change, yes, that we have discussed. We also meet this change of old age. It's one change that sometimes it can be so hard to actually prepare for it. And Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1 then goes on to say, remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come and the years draw near, when you say, I have no pleasure in them. Old age begins now. Preparing for old age begins now when we're still youths. I don't know, what do you think about that, Fortune? What do you think about preparing for old age and the link with youth, old age? What comes into your mind?
We are coming from preparing for marriage, preparing for parenting, and life does not end there. We grow up to the point maybe of seeing our grandchildren. What I've seen generally from this life, we have not a large number of people who are aged. Most people, they die before reaching the age maybe of 70, 80. But then some people are blessed to reach that same age. What I've seen on those who are blessed to reach those age, some of them, they reach it, but they will be sick. They face some sicknesses, some hardships, people facing BP. But I trust that when we are facing those things, but we have got, it becomes much easier than when we don't have got. So preparing for old age, it takes people to develop a deep personal knowledge of God. We have to know our God who is keeping us. We have to have confidence in him. We have to know that he is the strength and source of power, and he is also loving. And also we are supposed to develop good habits before we reach that age. Maybe let's talk